Should you be shooting in a log or flat picture style in your videos? Well, there's certainly a lot of people who think so.
Now, what's really popular, and I'm sure you've heard of it, is shooting your footage in a flat profile, something called log.
Shooting in a flat color profile will make your footage look so much better.
And I would always say to use as flat of an image as possible.
It's a look that's often associated with that filmic feel.
There's so much more information there if you want the most cinematic
Images.
It sounds awesome, right? But it's a little bit more complicated than that. See, most of us own 8-bit cameras, which don't necessarily play well with log footage. See, it all comes down to picture styles. A picture style tells your camera how to encode raw data into your bit depth for JPEGs and video. But there's a problem. An 8-bit camera can only record 256 color levels. Compare this to a 10-bit camera, which can record over 1,000, and a cinema camera, which can record a lot more. So, your camera has to decide where to map these limited color values over dynamic range. And it uses a default picture style to do so. This looks like an S-curve and gives the most color depth to the midtones, rolling off the highlights and compressing the shadows. When you use a log picture style, it applies a more linear curve which attempts to increase usable dynamic range by spreading color values more evenly across your exposure. This sounds great, but remember, with only 256 color levels, you're going to lose color depth in the midtones, and that's information you're never going to be able to recover regardless of how hard you try and post. That's why so many people struggle with color grading 8-bit log footage. Crucial color information is lost, and trying to replace it results in banding issues and plasticky skin tones. Simply put, you're going to get more usable colors that you can grade in post from a default picture style. At least that's what the internet would have you believe. See, I reached out to several professional colorists to get their advice, and surprisingly, it was mixed. Now, if you said no, absolutely not, you should not shoot log or flat with an 8-bit camera. Color is everything and don't ruin color. But then the other group didn't really seem to care. They said as long as you don't apply too harsh of a color grade, nobody's going to notice the color issues anyway. Their reasoning was that most consumers only are able to display 8-bit color on their devices anyway, and most use streaming services like YouTube and Netflix that already compress video quite a bit, so who cares? So should you use log and flat picture styles? Sure, why not? I mean, it's there, why not use the technology, try it out, see what works for you, and come up with the best look for whatever videos you're going for. But understand it has limitations. If you're new to filmmaking, there's nothing wrong sticking with a default picture style. There's a reason it's there, and you can manually dial in some settings to get the look you want straight out of the camera. That's going to save you a ton of time, and you don't have to color correct that much in post, if any. So now I want to hear your thoughts on log and flat footage. What works best for you, what doesn't, and what settings and picture styles do you prefer? Let me know in the comments below.